Alrighty, good morning everyone. Thank you so much for attending today's live lesson. As you can see, there is a Kahoot at the end to kind of like practice and review. This is kind of like a continuation of the first part that we did last week where we started Module 3. There is a lot of information in Module 3, and I'm finding that a lot of the students aren't really clicking on all the tabs or really utilizing the note-taking guides, which are kind of like graphic organizers. So I really want to just bring some information to your attention so that way we're all on the same page in terms of the writings and how to respond to questions, because today we're really going to practice not only the writing but also practice a little bit of speaking, because now you're really going to, starting from Module 3 moving forward, you're really going to be using verbs, asking questions, responding to questions to other people, and we've been introduced to the 3 types of verbs that we have in Spanish. Does anyone know off the top of their head the 3 endings that we've covered so far? You can either type it or type it in the chat box or write it in on the whiteboard. Very good. Oh, yay! I'm so happy. Gosh. Yes, AR, ER, IR verbs. Correct. So moving forward, we're just going to be using them more and more, and so it's really important that you have a strong foundation. So let's first go over these questions. ¿Quién es sed? ¿Quién es sed is, I want to say from lesson 302, I think it is, or 304, when we learned different tenet expressions. Correct, Nina, are you thirsty? Hi, Alex, thanks for coming. So we learned about 6 different tenet expressions, and one of them is tener sed, are you thirsty? Sí, yo tengo sed. No, no tengo sed. Sí, yo tengo sed. You wouldn't say sed de agua, you just say tengo sed, and then another sentence would be quiero, because we learned that verb quiero agua. No, no tengo sed. Go get your headphones, Alex. Go get your headphones. Then the next one is ¿qué comes de postre? Comes from an ER verb or an IR verb? Who knows? Very good, Danielle. It is from an ER verb. Very good, Kelsey. Very good, Nina. Yo como los huevos y las tostadas para el desayuno. Yo quiero las galletas. Very good, Kelsey. Yo como el cereal para el desayuno. Yo quiero el pastel. Very good, Danielle. Yo como, it would be el tocino, not las tocino, el tocino. El tocino is bacon. Y las tostadas, AS at the end, para el desayuno. Yo quiero las galletas. Yo como el pan o cereal para el desayuno. Yo quiero el helado. Ooh, very good. All right. So you guys are starting to get the hang of responding to questions. That's awesome. Alrighty, so very quickly, I just want to hear your voice. I just want to hear you speak a little Spanish. So raise your hand so that way we can go in order. I'll just call you out. I just want you to say good morning, your name, and ¿qué prefieres para el desayuno? Just respond to that question. ¿Qué quieres para el desayuno? Los huevos y la tostada, o el cereal, o los panqueques. So it kind of helps your brain, not only when you're writing it, but when you're saying it as well. So who's going? Danielle will be up next, then Kelsey. We can go in order of how your name appears. Okay, so Danielle, you can start.
Hola, me llamo Danielle. Yo prefiero los huevos.
That was great. Perfect. Kelsey.
Buenos días, me llamo Kelsey. Y yo desayuno los tostadas.
Let me hit click. What's the verb in the question, Kelsey? Because what you said is correct. Yo desayuno is correct because the verb is desayunar. So, Kelsey's writing. I see her writing. You said your response to me was yo desayuno, which is correct. But I'm asking you to look at the verb here that I have prompted. What's the verb that you should have used? You can respond. I can give you the mic. Thank you, Kelsey. Okay, Nina, let's try. I don't know if your mic is working. Alex, is your mic working? Let me hear it. Let me see if your mic is working. Yes, your audio was cutting out, Nina. Alex, what about you? Alex may not be back from getting his headset. Taylor, is your mic working? All right, so just hit the talk button and let me hear you. For some reason, Taylor, we can't hear you. I'm sorry. Okay, let's move along. We'll try that another time. Some of the objectives today, I want to identify the vocabulary needed to talk about meals and customs at a table. Understand descriptions about meals and customs at the table. No worries, Taylor, that's okay. We're going to use AR, ER, and IR verbs in sentences about meals, identify how to use subject pronouns, AR, ER, and IR verbs in sentences, and participate in conversations about foods and meals. Okay, so one of the most important concepts in Module 3, we started talking about singular subject pronouns, meaning one person. We're only talking about one person at this time. So, this is on Lesson 302, page 10. What are the singular subject pronouns? Start typing them out, but don't hit the send button yet. Don't hit the send button yet. Let's hit it out together. So, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted. You all seem to know them. Very good. Those are singular because up until this point, we've only talked about one person. If we're talking about ourselves, if we're asking a question directly to you, whether it's formal or informal, depending on if you're talking to an adult or you're talking to a friend, if we're talking about her, if we're talking about him, those would be just one person. We haven't learned yet how to talk about like a group or multiple people. And we're going to get there. So, very quickly, we've been covering this now for a few weeks. Yo is the first person talking about oneself. Tú is the second person talking to someone. It's the informal, when you're talking to someone your age or talking to someone younger. And él, usted is the third person talking either about he, she, or you formal. and we use usted when talking to someone older, trying to distinguish when we use usted and tu. And we've done this. Okay, now, last week we talked about, the week before we talked a little bit about it. Who can remember what's the process to conjugating a verb? So step one only, don't hit the send button yet, but type it out. So I only see Kelsey, I see Danielle, I see Josh, I don't see Nina, I don't see Alex, I don't see Taylor. What is the process? You're only doing step one, and don't hit send until I tell you to. In 5, 4, 3, 2, hit the send. Remove the ending. So, let me take that off. Remove the ending. So, step one, it talks about an infinitive. So, an AR verb in its form like hablar. An infinitive is an unconjugated verb, or simply a verb with the word to in front of it. I tell students that. It's just a verb with the word to in front of it. So if we want to say in English, like to run, to play, to watch TV, to listen to music, to cook, to dance, to walk, to work out at the gym, to play video games, to talk on the telephone, to text, all of that, they're verbs. In the module, it gives you a little fancier definition of an infinitive. It says, or the process of conjugating. When we're conjugating, it's the variation of the form of the verb by which are identified by voice, mood, tense, number, and person. I think that's a little too much. I just say we make sure that the verb has to agree with the person. Okay, so we remove the ending. We always drop the ending. And then what do? Don't hit the send button yet. So what's the next step? I see Kelsey writing. I see Danielle writing. I see Nina writing. Now Taylor's writing. Don't hit the send button. Alex, are we there? In 5, 4, 3, 2, hit the send. Add the correct ending depending upon the subject pronoun. Very good. So, we drop the ending, whether it's AR, whether it's ER, whether it's IR, and then we add the appropriate ending. And the appropriate endings, again, are based on the subject pronoun. And this is something that we focused on last week, and now, as you're going to see, each time we have like that 0.05, like 3.05, 4.05, 5.05, you're going to make sure that you're writing and you're expanding your sentences with different verbs. Okay, so we learned this, and we can check this out. If you need any help, you can review this either in lesson 303, page 9, or 304, page 9. So, conjugating the verb hablar. What do? We remove the AR, and then we add the appropriate ending, correct. So what are the endings? So, write the endings, give you the subject pronouns, and put the endings next to it. Correct. I see Kelsey writing, Nina writing, Josh is writing. Correct. Yo hablo, tú hablas. Él, ella, usted habla. Correct. So, very good. So you guys know this. Very good. Now here, I wanted to show you guys, even though we haven't covered it yet, we'll be learning this eventually, but when we talk about more than one person, we'll be also learning about the subject pronouns as well. So you may know people who speak Spanish, and they'll be, what about this person and that person? we'll get into that. I just wanted you to see that all we are now, thank you, Alex, for letting me know. All we're doing now is focusing on this half, the left side, as I call it, of when we conjugate a verb. We're only talking about one person, whether it's yo, tú, él, ella, usted. What's coming is we'll be talking about we. So we, for example, is when I say my friends and I, my family and I, my children and I, we went for a walk. We go to the movies. We go trick-or-treating. Vosotros and vosotras, you'll hear a lot in Spain and in South America. It's not as commonly used in the Caribbean or in Mexico, so depending upon where you are. So I like for students to be very familiar with it, but in terms of this course, we won't be tested on it, which is the vosotros and vosotras, which means if I was talking to you, well, everyone in this room. So like Kelsey, Danielle, Nina, Alex, Josh, and Taylor, if I was going to direct all, if I was going to ask, are you all going trick-or-treating, I would use the vosotros form because I have a mixed group here. I have boys and girls, young men and young ladies in this group, so I would use the vosotros. Same thing with nosotros, my friends and I, we go trick-or-treating. If I have any guys friends going trick-or-treating with me or any of my neighbors, the dads who are going trick-or-treating, I would use we go, nosotros. Nosotras is just when it's girls. Vosotras is just when it's girls. And then ellos, ellas, and ustedes is also the plural of él, ella, and usted. So ustedes means you all. Ellas means they, the girls. Ellos means they, the boys. However, if we're talking about guys and girls, like a group of they, like maybe you go trick-or-treating, if you trick-or-treat, and it's a group of, boys and girls together would be ellos. They go trick-or-treating, ellos. But again, we do not need to worry about this now. I just want you to know that this is coming. Just like when we started talking about subject pronouns, even though we hadn't learned about it yet, I always like you to know that there's something else coming, which is why it's so important that you are familiar with what we're getting now. So give me a thumbs up if you are understanding kind of where I'm going. Or a frown if you're like totally lost, if I'm not making sense. Because sometimes I think I may not make sense, and I just want to make sure that I'm not confusing you because you're not responsible for this right now. I just want to make sure that you understand that in life, we don't only do things with one person. Sometimes we do things with more than one people. And so just keep that in your mind. Okay, ER verbs. What about ER verbs? How do we conjugate an ER verb? Just the singular, because that's all we're talking about. This is our world right now, one person. Correct. We remove the ER. Correct, Josh. Correct, Danielle. And then we add the appropriate ending. So what would be the step process? So I should see everyone writing down how do we conjugate the verb comer. Yo, tú. Very good. Very good. And then here, all I have covered, again, is the plurals. Okay, what about the verb escribir, which means to write? It's an example of an IR verb. What would be the process there? What's step one? Remove the IR, correct, Kelsey, and add the endings. And the appropriate endings would be what? Correct. Escribo, escribes. Yo escribo, I write. Tú escribes, you write. Él escribe, he writes. Maybe we're writing down recipes and sharing recipes. Not that maybe you guys cook. Who knows? Very good. Okay. So, just as a friendly reminder, in 303, page 7, it went over breakfast foods, meal times, more verbs that you will have to know, table settings, and in a restaurant. That's what we're going to be going over. I also want to send you something that I got from the toolbox. Hold on a second. Where is it? No. Oh, here it is. I'm going to be sending you a file now. So if you would please just accept what I'm sending you. I got this in the toolbox. I was looking for something in the toolbox, and they actually had this. And I said, this would be perfect. This is kind of like a list of vocabulary for meals that you should know by now. So I thought it was nicely organized, and you know me, I like things organized. So I thought you might want to have it. So just save it. You can save it on your desktop. Smiley face if you received it. Or a check mark. Okay, great. You all received it. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to practice a little bit about responding. So I want you guys to wait. I'll give you a few seconds to write your responses down rather than trying to pick up the mic, because I know some of you have challenges with the mic right now. So, ¿qué comes para el desayuno? This is a great question that I may ask you. ¿Qué comes para el desayuno? El cereal, los huevos y las tostadas, o los panqueques. So here I'm giving you some choice here. How would you respond in a complete sentence? Write out your response, but don't hit send until I ask you to. So, I see Alex writing, I see Danielle writing, I see Kelsey writing, Nina. Okay, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit the send button. Yo como los huevos para el desayuno. Yo como los huevos. Yo como el cereal para el desayuno. Yo como los huevos. Very good. So, very good responses. Just remember, you want to answer in a complete sentence. So, yo como el cereal is fine. Yo como los huevos is fine. But you want to make sure you're saying yo como el cereal, or yo como los huevos, or yo como los panqueques para el desayuno, for breakfast, or whatever you're having. Just get in the habit of looking at the vocabulary in the question, or what you hear me say if we're doing a DBA, and using that vocabulary when you create your response. So think about it like when you're in kindergarten or VPK, and the teacher would ask you, what's your favorite color? My favorite color is. What do you like to drink? I like to drink orange juice, chocolate milk, Sprite, whatever your choice is. So try to get used to using that vocabulary. Now, next question. ¿Qué necesitas para comer el cereal? So here we have an extended question, but as you can see, the arrow, don't hit the send yet, the arrow is pointing to specific vocabulary. And if you need a refresher, this vocabulary is lesson 304, page 4. So don't hit the send yet. How would you use the vocabulary from this question to formulate your response? I see you guys writing. I'm going to give you a minute, because this now we're adding that next layer. We're adding that next piece. So we're using the vocabulary from the question to formulate the response, and now we're integrating the table setting vocabulary, because the table setting vocabulary is in lesson 3.04, page 4, and that is part of this first part of the module. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hit the send button. Yo necesito la cuchara para comer el cereal. Yo necesito la cuchara para comer el cereal. Well, you do, but Nina, that's not what I'm pointing to. I'm pointing to vocabulary from lesson 304, page 4. Yo necesito la cuchara para comer el cereal. So you guys are seeing how to incorporate both. So now your responses are going to be a little more elaborate. Granted, when you're doing it in English, it's not elaborate because it's something that you do all the time, but remember where we are. I tried to make it big. Next time I'll make it a different color, Nina. I'll make it a bright yellow. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to confuse you. Okay, next question. ¿Qué tomas con el cereal? Now, I have 2 pictures that you can use in your response because when I was at a brick and mortar, some of my students would eat their cereal with OJ. Some of my students would eat their cereal with milk. I've seen it both. So it's a personal preference. No judgment, whatever you want to eat. Some people like dry cereal. Some people like cereal with Greek yogurt. That would be me. So, don't hit the send yet. I see everyone's working. Josh, are you okay over there? Okay. Excellent. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit the send. Yo tomo la leche con el cereal is one response. Very good. Yo tomo la leche. I think everyone said yo tomo la leche. Anyone say yo tomo el jugo de naranja con el cereal. Very good. So again, it's a personal preference. Now, ¿qué hay en la mesa? This one, I would star this. I would make sure this is on my graphic organizer because this verb I looked in our lessons and it's given in lesson 304. There's no explanation. I looked in the toolbox. It's not there. It's in the glossary. This verb I is used all the time. You're going to see I all the time. I use this all the time. And it's really not given an explanation. I means there is or there are. So, depends on the question. That's when you'll know if it's meaning there is, if you're talking about one thing, or there are, like there is a dog in the house, one dog. There are apples in the kitchen. So there's more than one apple in the kitchen. So it depends on the sentence. So here again, I want to practice this table setting vocabulary. So don't hit the response yet. ¿Qué hay en la mesa? I want to see how many of you can use the vocabulary from the question to formulate your response. So I'll give you like 30 seconds now. And let me put the timer up. Because this one takes a little more. You have to list at least 4 items. Another 20 seconds. Six seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit the send button. Hay la cuchara, el cuchillo, la servilleta y el tenedor en la mesa. Josh, that's perfect. Hay el plato, el tenedor, el cuchillo y la cuchara en la mesa. Correct. Another thing, this en la mesa is kind of like a prepositional phrase, like we would say in English. So You could say en la mesa, on the table. Daniela, hay unos tenedores, unos platos. She's getting fancy. She's making things plural. She's remembering. That was in Module 2, how to make things singular and plural. Hay la cuchara, Alex, un plato. Well, here, Alex, make sure that you're using, if you're using definite articles, that la or el, you use it throughout. So don't mix up indefinite, un plato, with el. Stick to either using all indefinite articles or all definite articles. And Nina, make sure you say una cuchara, un tenedor, una servilleta, y un plato, okay? But you got the concept, which I'm so happy that you guys are starting to see that. That's okay, Danielle. You wrote quite a few items, which was perfect. Now, ¿dónde está el tenedor? Using prepositions of location. This was from lesson 304, page 7. You do have to know the prepositions of location. You have to know what preposition is. So, here we're talking about ¿dónde está el tenedor? And as you can see, I have a red arrow pointing to this fork. And we're saying where it's located in position to the plate. Okay, so I'm going to put the timer back up. And start writing. Because these you will have to know. Again, in lesson 304, page 7, it does talk about different prepositions for location. So they had 3, I believe. And hit the send button. Let's see what you have. El tenedor está. Josh, be careful. Look at the verb that's in the question. El tenedor está a la izquierda del plato. Very good. Going the wrong way. Anyone else? El tenedor está a la izquierda del plato. Very good. So this is something that will appear, that it's really important that you are familiar with prepositions of location and how to say it's to the left of, it's to the right of, it's on top of, it's underneath. El tenedor está. So Nina, make sure you're looking at the verb está and not es. Okay? So always check the verb in the question when you're answering questions or when you're responding when I ask you a question over the phone. Here, I just want to do very quickly a brief practice about when we're answering about someone else. So, ¿qué come Ana para el almuerzo? Based on this picture, what do you think? ¿Prefiere la hamburguesa con las papas fritas o el arroz con los plátanos y las verduras? So what do you think the answer is here? ¿Qué come Ana? How would we start off our response? How would we start off our response? Okay, ella come or Ana come, and then what? Ana come, and then what? What will we say? Correct. El arroz con los plátanos y las verduras. We're making that assumption based on this picture here. It doesn't look, based on this picture, it doesn't look like she's having a hamburger and french fries. Okay, it looks more like she's having probably the rice with the vegetables. Maybe not the plátanos, but the rice and the vegetables for sure. Okay, ¿qué come Señor Jones para la cena? Again, more vocabulary from the lesson. So, what do we see here? We have two cues. ¿Cuál quiere, el pavo o la chuleta de cerdo? This is also vocabulary from the lesson. So, based on this prompt, ¿qué come Señor Jones para la cena? Is he having la chuleta de cerdo or is he having el pavo? Correct, Kelsey. Él come el pavo. Señor Jones come el pavo para la cena. Excelente, Alex. Señor Jones come el pavo. Careful with your articles. Para la cena. That para la cena is that prepositional phrase. We want to make sure we're responding in complete sentences. So you want to get into that habit. That's okay, Taylor. My internet too is freezing up, and some other students also are freezing up. I don't know what's happening today, but that's good that you were able to join back. No worries. So, ¿qué tomas después de la cena? ¿Qué tomas después de la cena? What do you think después de means? After. So, how would you answer? Who's the subject? Who are we asking the question to? Am I asking yo, tú, él, ella, usted? Who am I asking the question to? I'm asking the question to who? Not to us. That would be plural, Josh, and we haven't done plural yet. To you. Now, Danielle, that you, is it formal or informal? How do you know, Josh, it's informal? How do you know, Danielle, it's informal? What is that context clue when you're looking at the whole totality of that question? Or if you hear me, Thomas, and Thomas is conjugated in two form. How do you know that, Josh? What gives it away? What's the ending that gives it away, that you know it's in the two form? AS. So these are all processes that you should be going through your mind saying, okay, she's asking me the question. The question's in the to form. I have to answer in the yo form because I'm talking about myself. So, what would you say? Yo? Okay, hit the send. Yo tomo el refresco después de la cena. Yo tomo el café después de la cena. Yo tomo el té después de la cena. But I just want you to be mindful so while you're looking at these questions, you're seeing how you add each component to make it one complete sentence. Give me a thumbs up if you are starting to understand the process of using vocabulary in the question to formulate your response, and also how you can see who the subject is if you see the question written or if you hear me say it. I only see Danielle. Kelsey, are you understanding this? Nina, are you understanding this? Alex, are you understanding this? Taylor, are you getting this? Because if one of you don't get it, I'm guaranteed that someone who's going to watch this later on and is not going to understand it. So now is the time when you ask me these questions that I know someone is lost. All right. Beautiful. Okay, this is a vocabulary question. ¿Quién prepara la comida en el restaurante? Using the vocabulary from the question. Let me put the timer up very quickly. We're almost coming to the end of our session here. I just want to make sure that you're familiar with these questions. So, ¿quién prepara la comida en el restaurante? This is vocabulary. If you're unsure of this vocabulary, lesson 304, page 3. In lesson 304, there was a lot of information. Between 303 and 304, I was like, oh my gosh. We got another 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Hit the send button. El cocinero prepara la comida en el restaurante. Perfect. Beautiful. What about this one? Now, ¿a quién le pides la comida en el restaurante? ¿A quién le pides? Just give me the vocabulary question. This one is a little more tricky. I will get to this at another time because they only gave you the verb pedir, which means to ask for or to order. It's kind of like quieres and prefieres, where it's a spelling change. So I just want el mesero, or it's la mesera, because correct, she's a girl. Correct. Very good. What about this? ¿Qué es? This is another vocabulary question. ¿Qué es? So what would you say? ¿Qué es? La cuenta. Very good. La cuenta, the bill. Pagar la cuenta. What about, ¿qué es? ¿Qué es? La propina, or las propinas. Very good. Dejar la propina. Very good. Just a quick reminder, we did question words. As previously you saw, I had them all at the bottom of the slides. 1.08, lesson 1.08, we did question words. We're recycling them again in 305, page 2. 305, page 2, I'm going to send you now again. File. This is what you're going to be submitting for your 3.05 assignment if you haven't done so. So please accept this Word document. This is what you'll be submitting for this assignment, the 305 blog. I just wanted to bring this up because I need you guys to look at each thing point by point. If it says question 1, asking your friend when he or she go or wants the party using the correct form of the verb querer o poder. So, use querer o poder. We've already covered querer. Use the correct question word. I've already shown you where we've covered question words. And make sure you use punctuation and accent marks. Question 2, you have to use the verb preferir in the to form because you're asking a question. Make sure you have the correct question word and punctuation. 3, we're having a question using what he or she likes. You're using the verb gustar. We use gustar in Module 2. This is an example of how we recycle vocabulary and verbs from module to module. So if you're not using your graphic organizers, you have to then go back into the lessons and find where do we cover gustar. But if you're using those graphic organizers, you can just go through your notes and say, oh, we did it here in Module 2, this lesson. So it's telling you, use the correct, you do not use a question word for this question. Start the correct pronoun before gustar. Use the correct form of gustar. And use the word for more in Spanish after the form gustar. And then it continues on with each point. So there's 5 questions that you're doing. Any questions? All right. Let me go and get the code for the Kahoot. And this is going to be a great little review for you. Okay. Three one 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 4 2. 311142. Okay, Kelsey, you can start typing me your question in the student chat box while people are signing in. If a question asks, I like, can you use the verb preferir? No, because I like is I like. Preferir is to prefer. I prefer and I like are 2 different things. So they're 2 different verbs and they want to, the whole point of that activity is to demonstrate that you know how to use gustar and how to use preferir. We'll go over that at the end, me and you. All right. Okay. Let's see. Is everyone in? Kelsey's in. Nina's in. Josh is in. Okay. There's other people. Oh, Danielle's excellent. Okay. So let's get started. There's only 10 questions. Module 3, Part 2. What is the second person singular subject pronoun in formal? You have él, tú, yo, or usted. Hey, everyone got that. Yay. Danielle, you were the quickest though, but everyone got it. Yay. Okay, number 2. What is the third person singular subject pronoun for he? Excelente. Excelente. You all got that. Number 3. What is the first person singular subject pronoun? Can't fool you guys. Danielle, you're on fire here. Number 4. ¿Qué comes para el desayuno? ¿Qué comes para el desayuno? Got about another 7 seconds. 4. Okay, it's la tostada. I didn't put huevos on there because I was looking for la tostada. Okay, Josh. Okay, number 5. ¿Qué necesitas para comer el cereal? Necesitas would be the verb that we would be conjugating. ¿Qué necesitas para comer el arroz? And we just went over this. Correct, la cuchara. Very good. Number 6, ¿dónde está el tenedor? So here we're looking for prepositions of location. Encima del plato, a la izquierda del plato, a la derecha del plato, or al lado del cuchillo. And the answer is a la izquierda del plato. Excellent. Number 7. ¿Qué come Sofía para el almuerzo? El taco, el bistec, el pavo, or las verduras. El taco I put in there because we went over borrowed words. Last week we focused on borrowed words from the Spanish language that we've accepted in the English language and vice versa. And the answer is las verduras. Whew. Kelsey has a streak with 4 correct answers in a row. Go, Kelsey. Number 8. ¿Qué tomas después de la cena? We have refresco. We have jugo de naranja. We have leche. And we have agua. I have a question for you guys about this picture. You all got it. Refresco. And Josh has the highest answer streak of 5. Number 9. ¿Quién prepara la comida en el restaurante? ¿Quién prepara la comida en el restaurante? El cocinero. Very good. And the last question. ¿Qué pagas después de la comida? ¿Qué pagas? We have la propina, we have el menú, we have el mantel, and we have la cuenta. All of these are vocabulary words from the lesson. La cuenta. And we have Josh, Danielle, and Kelsey on the podium. Awesome job, guys. Very good. Alrighty, well, that concludes our session for today. I'm going to hang out. I'm sorry, Taylor. If you have any questions, I'll hang out. Otherwise, you're free to go. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Adios.